Hey there, guys. We're checking our work from lesson 101. So our first problem was one of our new type problems where we have ratio boxes involving totals. So it says the ratio of boys to girls was 3 to 2, boys to girls 3 to 2, so I totaled 3 and 2 and got 5. And it says that there were 30 students in the class. They're giving us the total number of students in the class, and they want us to find the number of girls. So I circled the girls box, and then I could get rid of this box actually. My proportion is 2 over 5 is equal to G over 30. And I looked and I saw, well, to get from 5 to 30, I multiply by 6. 2 multiplied by 6 gives me 12. Number 2, they had us to tell what shape a shoebox is. So I just drew my little shoebox. It's a rectangular prism. Number 3, the average of 6 numbers is 12. So I know that when I get an average, I have to add all the numbers up, divide by the 6, and I get 12 as my average, it said. They want to know what the sum of all the numbers is. Well, I don't know what all the numbers are, but it's very easy to figure out the sum, because whatever the sum is, I divided by 6 to get 12. So if I multiply 12 by 6, my sum must have been 72. Number 4. 1 1/2 inches is the diameter. The radius is half of that, so I have to take 1 1/2 inches and divide by 2. So I make them both into fractions. 1 1/2 becomes 3 halves. Divide by 2 over 1. Fraction divided by fraction means fraction. Division changes to times. My divisor, I use the reciprocal. Okay, so 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. So 3/4 of an inch is the radius. Number 7, we're adding our signed numbers. -3 plus a -4 makes -7. +5 plus a -5. These are opposites. They make 0. -6 plus a -3 gives us -3. +6 plus a -3 gives us +3. Number 8 is our algebraic addition. So remember, instead of subtracting, we're going to change our subtraction to addition, and the next number we're going to use the opposite of it. -3 minus a -4. My minus changes to addition. -4, the opposite of it is +4. -3 plus a +4 gives me +1. +5 minus a -5. Instead of subtraction, I'm going to change it to addition. The opposite of -5 is +5. +5 plus a +5 is +10. -6 minus a +3. This minus is going to change to addition. The opposite of +3 is -3. -6 plus -3 make -9. -6 minus -6. This subtraction turns to addition. The opposite of -6 is +6. -6 plus a +6, these are opposites, they make 0. And E asks, how do we do algebraic addition? Well, we change the subtraction to addition, and then we change the sign of the subtrahend. That means the number after the subtraction sign, okay? The subtrahend is what we're subtracting, so I use the opposite of it. That means changing the sign. Number 9 is one of our new types of problems from our investigation, okay? 2 coins are tossed. So what I did over here was I said, here's my first toss and here's my second toss. I could get heads on my first one or tails on my first toss. If I got heads on my first toss, I could get heads or tails when I tossed it the second time. If I got tails on my first toss, I could get heads or tails when I tossed it the second time. So down here I did my sample space. Heads and heads, heads with the tails with the heads, or tails with the tails. So I have 4 possible outcomes. I could flip heads with heads with tails with heads, or tails with tails. So A says, what's the probability that both coins will land heads up? Well, this one right here is the only outcome where they both land heads up. So there's one of those out of 4 total, 1 out of 4. What's the probability one of the coins will be heads and the other tails? Well, let's see the outcomes where we have 1 head, 1 tail. This one we have 1 head, 1 tail. This one we have 1 head, 1 tail. So that's 2 out of 4 total, which reduces to 1/2. Okay, our conversion chart. 3/4 Okay, so I already automatically know that 3/4 is 0.75, 75 hundredths. But if you forgot how to do that, then you need to divide 3 by 4, like this. 3 divided by 4, okay? And you will get 75 hundredths. To turn that into a percent, I multiply by 100, which means move my decimal twice to the right. Bump, bump, 75%. Number 11, they gave us 1 6/10. So they wanted us to turn it into a fraction and a percent. 1 6/10, I can write it as a fraction and reduce it. 1 3/5. Now 1 6/10, to get to percent, I multiply it by 100%. Bump, bump, 160%. Number 12, they give us 5%. Okay, now we know that percent means out of 100, 5 hundredths is 0.05 as a decimal. 5 hundredths reduces to 1/20th as a fraction. Number 13. 1 1/2 times 4. So I need them both to be fractions. So 1 1/2 turns into 3/2 times 4/1. This will reduce 1. This becomes 2. 3 times 2 is 6/1, which reduces to 6. 6 divided by 1 1/2. Again, I need them both to be fractions. 6 divided by 3/2. Now I have fraction divided by fraction, so I need fraction. My division turns to times. I use the reciprocal of the divisor. Okay, so the 3 and the 6 reduce. This is 1, this is 2. 2 times 2 is 4/1, which reduces to 4. Number 15, 0.4 squared divided by 2 cubed. So I got to do the exponents before I do the dividing, okay? So 4/10 times 4/10 gives me 16 hundredths. 16 hundredths divided by 2 cubed is 8. So 8 will go into 0, 0 times. 8 will go into 1, 0 times. 8 will go into 16, 2 times. So the answer is 2 hundredths. 16, x plus 2 1/2 equals 5. Okay, so this is when I'm missing an addend. If I'm missing an addend, I can take the sum and subtract the other addend to find the missing one. So 5 minus 2 1/2. But I changed my 5 into 4 2/2 minus 2 1/2 leaves me with 2 1/2. Last one, number 17. This is one of our proportions. 8 is to 5 as 40 is to some number. Now you could solve it using your cross products, okay? Or you might have seen that to get from 8 to 40, I multiply times 5. So 5 times 5, x equals 25. Okay, guys, hope you did well, and I hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye.